Welcome back to my channel. Today, I will be counting down the top 10 shows of the 1963-1964 season. And these are the official Nielsen ratings for that season. So let's get started. At number 10, My Favorite Martian. My Favorite Martian blasted onto TV screens in 1963, bringing a mix of sci-fi and comedy that quickly won over audiences. The show starred Bill Bixby as Tim O'Hara, a young newspaper reporter from the Los Angeles Sun who stumbles upon something out of this world. He witnesses a spaceship crash land and discovers its pilot, a 450-year-old Martian played by Ray Walston. And instead of turning him in, Tim decides to help him out, introducing him to the world as his Uncle Martin, while the Martian secretly works on fixing his ship. The two live in a garage apartment owned by Mrs. Lorelei Brown, who's a kind but scatterbrained landlady, and she has a habit of showing up at the worst possible moments. With Uncle Martin's alien abilities, like invisibility and telekinesis, she's always on the verge of finding out his secret, which causes plenty of close calls in the show. My Favorite Martian aired on CBS on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. At number 9, The Danny Thomas Show. By 1963, The Danny Thomas Show was already a staple on television and was entering its final season. Originally known as Make Room for Daddy when it debuted in 1953, the sitcom followed nightclub entertainer Danny Williams, who was played by Danny Thomas, as he tries to balance his showbiz career with raising a family. The show had its share of changes over the years. Danny's first on screen wife, Margaret, played by Jean Hagen, was written out after the third season, and Marjorie Lord stepped in as his new wife, Kathy. But no matter the cast shifts, the heart of the show remained the same. It's warm family moments, plenty of laughs, and Danny's signature mix of exasperation and affection for his kids. The Danny Thomas Show aired on CBS on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Number 8, The Ed Sullivan Show. By 1963, The Ed Sullivan Show was a Sunday night tradition, bringing America some of the biggest names in entertainment. Hosted by the famously stiff but legendary Ed Sullivan, the variety show was the place to see rising stars, musicians, comedians, and even the occasional oddball act. In October of 1963, while at Heathrow Airport, Ed Sullivan witnessed a large group of fans awaiting the Beatles, who were returning from a tour of Sweden, and Ed realized something special was going on. When the Beatles took the Ed Sullivan stage on February 9, 1964, a record-breaking 73 million viewers tuned in to see them perform. Their sharp suits, mop-top haircuts, and undeniable stage presence set America into full-fledged Beatlemania. They returned for 2 more appearances that same month, making musical history that is still discussed today. The Ed Sullivan Show aired on CBS on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. At number 7, Candid Camera. Candid Camera was hosted by the quick-witted Alan Funt. His hidden camera would place unsuspecting people in silly and outrageous situations while quietly capturing their reactions. What made Candid Camera so fun was its ability to take normal, ordinary moments, like a trip to the store or a visit to a restaurant, and turn them into comical, unpredictable encounters. The show had a knack for creating situations that were both funny and a little bit awkward. By 1963, Candid Camera had been around in various forms since 1947, when it began as a radio show called Candid Microphone. Candid Camera aired on CBS on Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. The Lucy Show. After the massive success of I Love Lucy, fans were thrilled to see Lucille Ball back on TV in The Lucy Show, once again bringing her signature mix of slapstick comedy and hilarious misunderstandings. But this time, Lucy played Lucy Carmichael, a widowed mother living in New York with her 2 kids and her best friend Vivian, who was played by the wonderful Vivian Vance. Unlike I Love Lucy, where Lucy was constantly scheming to get into show business, the Lucy show focused more on her everyday misadventures, whether she was dealing with banks, potential suitors, or just trying to make things run smoothly at home, which rarely happened. One of the big changes in the 1963-1964 season was the introduction of Mr. Mooney, played by Gale Gordon. He was Lucy's cranky, no nonsense banker, and his constant annoyance with her antics made for some of the show's funniest moments. The Lucy Show aired on CBS on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Number 5 is The Andy Griffith Show. The Andy Griffith Show brought small town charm and gentle humor into American living rooms every week. Set in the fictional town of Mayberry, the show followed Sheriff Andy Taylor, played by Andy Griffith, as he kept the peace, not by force, but with good old-fashioned common sense and a lot of patience. One of the biggest reasons for the show's success was its incredible cast of characters. There was Deputy Barney Fife, played to perfection by Don Knotts, whose nervous energy often caused more problems than he solved. And then there was Aunt Bee, played by Frances Bavier, who ensured Andy and his son Opie, played by the young Ron Howard, were always well fed and well loved. And of course, Mayberry was full of quirky townspeople. From Floyd the barber to Otis the town drunk, they always kept things interesting. The Andy Griffith Show aired on CBS on Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
Save your money while you save your hands. Get Chiffon, the dishwashing liquid that saves you up to 20 cents over most leading brands.
At number 4, Petticoat Junction. Making its debut in 1963, Petticoat Junction was created by Paul Henning, who had already struck gold with the Beverly Hillbillies. The series took viewers to a small town of Hooterville, home of the charming Shady Rest Hotel. The show followed widow Kate Bradley, played by Bea Benaderet, as she ran the family hotel while raising her 3 daughters, Billy Jo, Bobby Jo, and Betty Jo, with the help of their Uncle Joe, who was always scheming up ways to make a quick buck. And of course, there was the show's intro, with the 3 beautiful Bradley daughters playfully bathing in the town's water tower, an image that became a memorable part of 1960s television. With its mix of warmth, humor, and a little bit of romance, Petticoat Junction quickly became a fan favorite and remained on the air for 7 seasons. Petticoat Junction aired on CBS on Tuesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. At number 3, The Dick Van Dyke Show. Created by Carl Reiner, The Dick Van Dyke Show premiered in the fall of 1961, and by 1963, it had firmly established itself as one of television's most clever sitcoms. Set in New York, the show centered around Rob Petrie, played by Dick Van Dyke, a comedy writer for a fictional television show. Rob's life was filled with constant mishaps as he tried to balance his personal and professional life. His wife, Laura, played by Mary Tyler Moore, was sweet, intelligent, and wonderfully witty, making Rob and Laura one of TV's most beloved couples. Buddy, played by Maury Amsterdam, the wisecracking head writer, and Sally, played by Rose Marie, the sarcastic yet lovable writer who was always a step ahead of everyone. The Dick Van Dyke Show aired on CBS on Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Number 2, Bonanza. Bonanza followed the Cartwright family, Ben and his 3 sons, Adam, Haas, and Little Joe, as they managed the sprawling Ponderosa Ranch in Nevada. By the fall of 1963, the show was in its 5th season and more popular than ever. Unlike many westerns of the time, Bonanza didn't rely solely on shootouts and outlaws. Instead, its stories focused on Ben Cartwright and his relationship with his sons, giving the show a depth that drew audiences in. With its strong storytelling, picturesque setting, and stellar cast, including Lauren Green, Pernell Roberts, Dan Blocker, and Michael Landon, Bonanza remained a TV staple for years, becoming one of the longest-running westerns in television history. Bonanza aired on NBC on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. And now we have made it to the number one show. So do you have a guess of what it might be? You can pause here and put it in the comments below. The number one show of the 1963-1964 season was The Beverly Hillbillies. The Beverly Hillbillies followed the Clampett family, Jed, Granny, Ellie Mae, and Jethro, who struck it rich when they discovered oil on their land and moved from the backwoods to a mansion in Beverly Hills. Viewers couldn't get enough of Granny's feisty personality, Jethro's not-so-bright ideas, Ellie Mae's endless collection of critters, and Jed's laid-back charm. The show's humor came from the clash between the Clampett's country ways and the high society world of Beverly Hills. Mr. Drysdale was the Clampett's neighbor and greedy banker who managed Jed's fortune. He went out of his way to keep the Clampetts happy and their money in his bank, often getting tangled up in their wild antics. Miss Hathaway was his loyal and efficient secretary. She was smart, organized, and often the voice of reason amid Mr. Drysdale's schemes. And despite her proper and sophisticated demeanor, she did have a soft spot for the Clampetts, especially Jethro, who she had an obvious crush on. Her attempts to impress him while he remained completely oblivious became a running gag. The Beverly Hillbillies aired on CBS on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's the top 10 of the 1963-1964 season. And an interesting thing that I noticed doing this list is that 9 out of the 10 shows aired on CBS. The only show that didn't was Bonanza, which aired on NBC. So do you have a favorite show from 1963? Were you surprised at all by this list? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this sort of content, please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.
Just as all things in nature thirst for water, so does the skin thirst for moisture. To safeguard this moisture, use Princess Dial, the complexion soap with moisturizing cream right in it.